Hey, friend, welcome to Holistic Hearts. I am your host, Kristin Chadwick. I want to welcome you if this is your first time listening, or if you have been here for many episodes, welcome. I am your friend and your coach coming alongside you to encourage you to go and taste and see that He is good. We have had so much fun this year walking through deep waters. If you haven't listened to that series, I encourage you to go back. Man, that was such a fun series for me to do. And I think there's more. I think there's more ahead, like I've been saying the last couple of episodes. But today I want to share with you more of a workshop type of episode. So I encourage you to pause if you are walking and listening to this. I want you to not listen until you have a piece of paper in front of you because we are going to dream today. So before we begin, I do want to tell you about a fun announcement coming up December 9th here in Colorado Springs. Megan Nielsen, also a Kingdom life coach. She is a dear friend of mine. We have been doing this journey of coaching together since 2020. We've known each other since back when our kids were little and we were in a mom's group together. We are co-leading a half-day in-person retreat for women, mainly women, but men are welcome too, here in Colorado Springs, where it is going to be all about encountering Jesus, encountering the King, processing, reflecting, pausing, listening, and just having a sweet timeout, a 3.5 hour timeout. And I really encourage you, whether you are a mama in a busy season or you are a woman in the midst of this busy season coming up, to take this 3.5 hours for yourself, for your spirit to connect with His Spirit. It will bless your season. I am confident in that because He is so good and He wants to meet with you. So if you are local here in Colorado Springs, sign up, snag your spot today. It's here in town and it's going to be so fulfilling. So I encourage you to check that out. Okay, so let's jump into dreams. So last week I talked a little bit about, stoking more of the conversation on what are those dreams that we have within us. And so today I want to go through like almost like a coaching session together. And this was actually born out of a talk that I just gave with my local moms group here in town. And I thought I would share it with you. So again, make sure you have a pen and paper or a tablet to walk through this process. It's going to be helpful for you as you start to plan for 2024. I know my brain kind of kicks into gear of like, oh, I wonder what's for 2024. So that is what we're doing today. We're going to be walking through some dreaming. Okay. First, I want to share with you a song. I encourage you to listen to it on Spotify. Jack Johnson has a song called Dreams. I think Dreams Will Be Dreams. And in that line, I was listening to it the other day, and he says, don't let your dreams only be dreams. And I think that's really important because we can have these visions, these dreams within us that take, or they might maybe not take, but they start to hide, and maybe they never get legs on them, right? So they never are pursued. And so my goal for you today, by the end of this, is to have an action step to move forward in at least one of your dreams. I know it's some of you are thinking, oh gosh, maybe I'm going to turn this off and come back when I'm ready. But I encourage you, don't. Listen, listen, listen. I am giving you permission to dream. I did an episode many years ago in podcast time, many years ago. I think it was probably a year and a half ago, where it was called Permission to Dream. And you can go back and listen to it. But that episode, and now I want you to hear you have full permission to go after a dream. God has placed in you a dream that is ready to be birthed. Okay? So today is that permission to just start thinking about it. So first, we're going to kick this off with visualizing your dream, but we're going to actually take it to like a metaphor. And because the Lord has really been speaking to me in these last 3 to 4 months about cultivating, about mastering, about the soil of our hearts. And if you've been listening, you've heard me say a few references to that. And so I encourage you to pause, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to visualize a small seed underneath the soil. It's representing your dream. It could be a life dream. It could be a dream of going on vacation. It could be a nonprofit that you're wanting to start. It could be a ministry that you're wanting to start, or a business that you want to pursue. And I want you to just picture the seed under the ground. What does it look like? It is holding your passions, your desires. Maybe it has something to do with your physical health or financially, or something super fun and exciting like skydiving or going on a girls' trip. I want you to just picture all of those seeds within you. Now, open up your eyes, and I want you to write down the seeds that you saw in your picture. So write it down on your piece of paper and what came up for you during that. So press pause for a second and start to write down those dreams. I wanted to share with you part of my story of dreaming and an example of a seed that was planted a long time ago, before the foundation of the earth. And I want you to hear this. In Psalm 139, you were formed in your mother's womb. You were created by him before the foundation of the earth to be in this time. And so, as with you, it was with me. And so my personal story was I was a young girl sitting on my floor, pressing record on my cassette player, recording my voice, saying, "You're listening to KFM Rocks," and making mixtapes from the radio. That was a dream. That was a seed that I started to notice as a little girl. And fast forward 25 years or more, and that seed of pressing record, using my voice to make an impact, to bring people joy, to inspire others, that dream has come true. I am now a podcast producer. Did I know what that was going to look like when I was 7? No. But oh gosh, how old was I when I started? So 2016. I was 35 when I started to realize this dream of using my voice to change lives. But that seed was planted way before I was 7 years old. And through that journey of discovery, I realized that that seed was still there, and that it was time for it to take root and to start to grow and break through the surface. So what is it in your visual and any of those seeds that you wrote down, those dreams that you wrote down? Which one is it time to crack open and nourish the environment, the soil, so that it can come up to the surface? And this is really like, this can be a small dream. This can be a huge audacity. You guys, you can tell I'm a podcaster. That's a podcaster joke right there. It can be really small. It could be an audacious dream. It could be a simple dream. It can be a very complex dream that you don't even have words for. But again, write down those dreams that are coming to mind as I'm starting to share. Now, as you're writing these down, it's okay for you to dream. I know that there might be kickback. It might feel selfish. Maybe you're in a season of life where you are very much consumed with everybody else's dreams. Maybe you are changing diapers and it feels like there's no time to dream for anybody or for myself, let alone just make it through the day. And I want to tell you that even if it's a tiny dream, like, hey, one day I dream of having an hour nap. That's okay. You can start there because I promise you, God has put dreams within you. He is calling you to a purpose that you have yet to walk in, and He cannot wait to dream with you. I love, love, love this example. When I was speaking to the moms group about this, one of my dear mentor moms came and she wanted to hear what I had to say. And which, number one, was such a huge honor for her to share that. And she shared a story of when she was in fourth grade. Her dad, no, excuse me, she was in fourth grade and her teacher had asked them to go home and write out what their dream ranch would look like. So, ranch meaning like mountain ranch or a farm ranch. And she was telling us that it was really hard for her to get started on expressing what she would even want in this dream ranch. And so her dad ended up coming and sitting at the kitchen table with her and just asking her questions and pulling out, what else would you like? What kind of house would you like? What would it look like? What would the cows look like? What kind of cows? And she said, there were times where I was like, well, you can't have that kind of cow with this type of cow. I don't know if that would work. And her dad very sweetly said, well, why not? Just put it down. This is your dream. And I feel like that example, that metaphor, that story was a huge metaphor of how God the Father wants to sit down at the table with you and pull out the dreams that are within you. He wants to ask you questions. He wants to say, well, why not write it down? It's a beautiful thing to dream. So again, no matter what season you're in, and it might be hard to dream, and that's okay. I want you to just say yes to the dreams that are within you. It may not be in this season that big audacious dream might happen, but maybe the small dreams are. Right? So again, on your piece of paper, I want you to look at your dreams. And I want you to find one of those dreams right now that you want to say yes in this year. And again, it can be small, it can be simple, it could be medium, it could be huge. What is it? And I want you to circle it. And feel free to pause this if you think about it, you pray about it. Now, at the bottom of your page, I want you to write out that dream again in as much detail as possible. So, for instance, if it's your dream to run a marathon, write down everything in it that is necessary to dream it. So, what I mean by that is I want you to write down, why is that important to you? What is the deep desire behind your dream? Imagine that if you couldn't fail on training for this marathon that you knew God was behind you on, what would it look like? Where would you go? Would you go to Hawaii to do this marathon? Let's do another example. Say your dream is to start a human trafficking ministry. Why is that important to you? What is the deep desire behind your dream? Imagine if you couldn't fail, that you knew God was behind you on this. How big would your dream be for this ministry for human trafficking? So write those 3 questions down. Okay, now that you've done that, you're going to do another visualization. I want you to just close your eyes, and I want you to envision what it looks like to live fully in this fulfilled dream. You're going to walk through an entire day as if the dream had come true. So going back to the marathon example, what does that morning after your marathon feel like? Everything from what does your body feel like? Might be sore. What is your emotions? What is your mindset? What is your relationships? What does it feel like? Who do you see around you? So that's with the marathon example. If you're doing like the human trafficking example, starting a ministry that way, what does it look like to wake up on a Tuesday from the minute that you open your eyes in the morning all the way through the day, the task, the to-do, the heart, the mind, the spirit? What does it feel like for you to walk through that day all the way till your head hits the pillow? And I want you to visualize that whole day. And either you can write it out or you can go through that exercise step by step in your mind. I know for me, I like to write it out. Again, press pause, do that, and then come back. Okay. Wasn't that awesome to visualize that day and feeling that fulfillment of following through on your God dream? So now we're going to pull it down to tangible and have those legs on those God-sized dreams. We're going to take root and we're going to create an action step to help you move towards fulfillment in your dream. So you're going to write down one step on your paper, whether it's talking to someone about it, like sharing with your husband, talking to a friend, finding a coach that can help you, signing up for a course or a race, depending on what your God-sized dream is, making a vision board, any of those things. What is your next right step? And I want you to write that down. Okay. So remember, we are all created by a creator who wants us to walk in our purpose. He has God-sized dreams for you. He has a call on each of our lives that's listening. He's planted these seeds that are within us. And maybe your seed is underneath thorns and bushes and it needs to be rediscovered, but I promise it is in there. And there are some kingdom impact powerhouses in this podcast that is listening right now. You could be 70 years old. You could be 20 years old. You could be 14 years old. You could be 45. He has plans for you. And you get to say yes to the cultivating and the nourishing of those seeds that he has planted within you. And most of all, have fun and enjoy this process because it's so fun to dream. It's so fun to experience that. And yes, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be fear that comes up. There's going to be days when you are not motivated to do the dream, or it feels tough and there's struggle, or maybe there's rhythms that have to readjust to this new norm of pursuing a dream. Maybe your role right now has to shift a little bit. Maybe you have to invite your husband into this process and say, hey, I need help to pursue this dream if you guys are both in agreement for pursuing this dream. And that's okay. You're going to have challenges. Everybody does. That's part of the process. Look at every single person in the Bible that is highlighted. Every person has a hero journey, right? We all are walking through life where we have to overcome something. And that includes even pursuing dreams that God has put in our heart. It just makes the soil, the roots of your dream that much deeper. And you've got to do it with other people. You need other people to come around you. So again, those action steps that we just talked about, you're going to have to find people that can partner up with you to support you in this dream. Okay. So I cannot wait to hear your dreams, the seeds that have been planted in your heart. And if this was hard for you too, I forgot to mention this. If it's hard for you to dream, it's okay. There are ways that you can still dream. You can go in your mind and think about a time in your life where you have felt joy or fully alive in something. What is it about that time in your life that brought you joy? And that is going to give you a clue on how to move forward in pursuing your dream. Another thing too, a gal had asked me this at the talk that I did, and she was asking, what if I just don't know what I want? And so I did give her that suggestion. And then also the other thing is to start small. Sometimes we don't know what those dreams are because it's so buried deep beneath the surface. We are almost numb to our own dream. And so this is where we have to start small, is even as simple of asking, like, it's a dream of mine to wake up in the morning and to foam milk into my coffee. Okay, that's where we're going to start. That sounds good. And you're not alone in that. It's just a season. The seeds are there, I promise. And we get to start small. Okay. I am so proud of you for doing this work. If you have taken the time to do this little workshop dream opportunity today, I would love, love, love to hear from you. So come inside of our Holistic Hearts group on Facebook and message me. I would love to hear your story. You can share it inside the group if you're comfortable, or you can message me, or you can even email me, Kristin@KristinFieldsChadwick.com. All right, you guys, take care and have a beautiful week. And don't forget, if you're in Colorado Springs, sign up for that retreat. We would love, love to have you there.